Hello everybody. This is a short video on some of my thoughts after using the Nexus 5 as my primary device for about a little less than a week, or a few days I guess. And I guess this is sort of a video to tell you a little bit about my transition to this device from my iPhone 5S. And so I guess it's kind of a mini review, kind of just my thoughts about this phone after using it for a while and transitioning from iOS. So, to start off, a lot has changed in Android, and for the most part I like it. And by changed, I mean changed since the last, year and a half-ish since I was a primary user of Android. So I thought I'd be able to live with this new phone, but coming from the 5S, I believe I'm going back to the 5S. I found myself missing a lot still, believe it or not. So, while this phone is a lot better at peak performance, I mean, it's very fast, it's brand new, it's a very powerful device with its 6 cores and everything. My older iPhone is, I guess, more fluid and reliable with day-to-day things such as texting, making a phone call, taking a Snapchat, taking a picture, opening the flashlight, just simple things that I tend to use my phone for most. So, with that being said, let's get into some of my thoughts with this Nexus device. So first I'm going to talk about some of the things that I liked about this phone. Let me tell you, I've always been, if you've ever watched my videos in the past, you've probably known that I am a huge fan of Android. I used to swear by it before I used an iPhone. And I really still do like Android a lot, and just going back to it for a few days really does bring me back to the days when I had Android, and I kind of wish I had it again. But for practicality purposes, I think I'm going to keep an iPhone. So, but some of the things I really liked about this phone is I like the design, and the design is kind of a plus and a minus, but I do much prefer a bigger screen, maybe not quite this big, but I mean, browsing the web, watching videos, everything is so much nicer on a big screen. But I mean, you know about this phone is the size of the screen, so I don't need to tell you about that. But it is a nice design. It feels nice to hold. It's not like a premium feel, but it doesn't feel cheap either. Though as someone pointed out online, I don't remember who, it's kind of a weird, like, tinny sound when you tap on it. So it it just doesn't feel as solid when you do that as, I mean, maybe if I did that on an iPhone. So, it's a little big for me to use one-handed. Personally, like texting on here, I feel much more confident when using two hands. And so that's kind of annoying for me. I mean, coming from the 5S, but that's, again, something I'm sure I'd get used to using the bigger screen size because I've used big screens in the past. Also, another thing I really like about this phone is the fingerprint sensor, the Nexus imprint. It is extremely fast. As soon as you put your finger on it, it's on. And my iPhone is very unreliable with the fingerprint sensor. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it just doesn't work ever. And this just always works, and it's very fast. I mean, there's no point in putting in the password when you can easily get your finger to the button. That being said, later I'm going to mention that it's not always easy to get your finger to the button, or it's too easy to get your finger to the button. Also, another thing I liked about this phone is battery life was a lot better than I expected. It would last a whole day when I was not using it heavily, but I used it pretty heavily because, I mean, it's a new phone and I enjoyed playing with it. And so then I guess it was nice having fast charge, but I'll talk about that later, a little bit more about that later. But the battery was much better than I guess I expected, but still nowhere near what my 5S was when it was new. So generally, overall, this device is very fast and fluid and easy to use, and I liked it a lot. But now, coming from the iPhone 5S, I'm going to talk about a couple of the downfalls and things that I guess are persuading me to go back to an iPhone. So first of all, back to the design. The design is excellent, but the placement of the fingerprint sensor is just kind of awkward. So let's just say the phone is sitting here, and that is usually how I set my phone down. So with my iPhone, let me grab it. Let me snooze that. Alright, so I've got my two phones here. They're both off. And, I just want to see, I guess I want to open the phone and use it while it's on the table here. I can just quickly pop in my fingerprint. Let's get out of that. And it opens up. Now here, what do? There's nowhere to turn on the phone. That's loud. There's nowhere to turn on the phone on the top, so I have to either reach to the side and then I'm just pushing it all over, or kind of awkwardly pick it up and then put my finger on the back, which usually I look first, and then it turns on. So I guess it's kind of just, it's really quite an annoyance when it's sitting on the table and all I want to do is turn it on, and I have to fumble and grab it, and then once I'm here, sometimes it's faster for me to swipe up and do my combo than to think about where to put my finger. So the finger placement's not really bad. It's just I don't like having a place where I can't turn it on from the front. So I would like a double tap feature. I think it's Motorola that has that. Don't quote me on that, but I know one of them has it where you can just double tap it, and that I really like, because then if I'm just, it's on my desk, I can double tap and swipe in and do what I need to do. So that is an annoyance, is the placement, I guess. And then also, even right there, I set my finger here, and it's vibrating. 2 quick vibrates to say my fingerprint wasn't matched, because it's getting a read on my another part of my finger. And then going along with that, the false reading, I guess, of it is very accurate and very fast. So even when I am, say, putting down my phone, like reaching to put it down somewhere, it'll get my fingerprint while I'm trying to put it down and have it locked. And then it'll be on again. So another little annoyance with the back button, I don't really know. My finger comes across it pretty often, and just a little tap. Okay, there we go. Turns it on. And one other thing is the volume buttons. This I've seen in a lot of reviews, and I didn't think it'd be a huge deal, but it is quite annoying. There's nothing really differentiating the power lock button from the volume button. So when I'm in a call, it is kind of nice to have this button right here, but then for volume, but then again at the same time, I can't tell what's what without feeling up the side of this phone. And even for turning it on, it all feels the same, and they kind of feel plasticky and cheap, and it's just a small annoyance. And then also, another thing is, it is hard to tell the top of the phone from the bottom without looking. Yes, there's the little bit of a camera sticking out there, protruding camera, but really, if you're just grabbing this phone, it's so easy to, until you feel the camera. I've been sitting here trying to turn it on and then realize it's upside down, because the design on the front is mostly the same except for that little camera. So, that is, my iPhone's pretty easy to tell apart from the button, and it looks different. So, and then another thing I noticed with this phone is the USB Type-C plug. Let me get it out here. So you can see it only comes with one that has 2 USB Type-C ports, so which is great, but I cannot use it on my any sort of portable chargers. I can't plug it into that, and I can't plug it into my computer at work to charge. I cannot plug it into my computer here when I'm studying out away from my desk and away from power outlets. And so really that's something you'd have to buy as an extra cable for that, which is, kind of annoying that you'd have to buy something like that. And then also no one has USB Type-C cords, so if I was at the office and forgot my cord and needed a charge, there's really no way that I'd find anybody, at least today in 2015, that has a USB-C cord that I could borrow. So, that being said, like I said, the battery lasts alright, but the fast charge, which is what a lot of people, say as counter to what I just said about there not being much available power sources, the fast charge did not work very well when I was holding the phone. So I had the phone at about 4% or 6%, and I plugged it in, and I waited 10 minutes because that's what they said gets you 4 hours of charge. Well, that got me up to about 10%, and I know that 4% is not 4 hours of charge. So I mean, I was using the phone, not heavily, but during that 10 minutes of rapid charging, where it did say on the screen rapid charging, it did not get 4 hours. And so I wasn't too impressed overall with rapid charging, I'll tell you that. And then, of course, occasional lag on here. Yes, my iPhone lags too, it's old, but just the things this would lag in. While Snapchat is still not made really for for Android. I mean, it's just kind of jumpy and laggy when you press the button, and that's part of the app. But even the Google Messaging app, when I was in Messages, it would freeze up every now and then, and that is not fun. When your messaging app freezes up, or the phone app. I mean, when I just want to send a simple text, it's a lot more difficult when it freezes. I mean, it froze to the point where I needed to turn off the screen, turn it back on, and then close the maps before it would let me finish my text. So those things they don't occur as much in iOS, in my opinion. Or my use. And then also I had some issues with Google Play starting out. It would not download any apps. It would say installing, and it would never actually download it. So I don't know what fixed that, but eventually it started working. That was very frustrating. Like, nothing I did actively to try to fix it made it work. So that was very frustrating. I just had to wait for it to fix itself. And then with the music side, I do use my phone for music a lot. So when I was in the gym, I had my Beats plugged into this, and I was trying to change the volume of them through the headset button, and it doesn't work. So the play pause button through the headset works, but not the volume buttons. So just a small annoyance. I mean, it's just a small little things that they work fine with Apple, but they didn't work with this. And then also, Google did fix, or at least the incremental volume stuff, where like I don't know if it's, where now it's a smooth slider instead of just the boop, 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 because I can't stand that, because then I can never find the right volume. But they did fix that, so props to them whenever they did that in the last year and a half. Also, there are audio sounds, annoying like clicking noises. It just sounds like something cheap that would make it just not well engineered. Whenever there's headphones or Bluetooth plugged in, and you're clicking buttons on the screen and nothing's playing, you can hear little sounds, just like click noises, and I will blip in a video of it here. And so that is really not, that's very frustrating, or not really frustrating, it's just annoying. And it truthfully just makes it sound like a crappy device. So, and then lastly is iMessage and FaceTime. I really will miss them if I were to keep this phone. FaceTime, I don't use it that often, but the ability to pretty much video chat anybody seamlessly from wherever you are, wherever they are, is pretty amazing. Most of my friends, nearly everyone I know actually, has an iPhone, and so it's just an instant video chat without telling anyone how to set it up or anything. It just works. So that's nice to have. And then iMessage I do like, and it's not just because of the little blue text colors. It's because SMS seems less reliable, especially when everyone's iPhones still think you have iMessage, even though I turned it off the correct way. Before switching phones, I still missed a lot of texts because of that. People's phones would not send it, and then, they wouldn't notice it didn't send, and I wouldn't get it. And so that's annoying. But really, SMS just doesn't always work. It's just not as nice. You can't see when people are typing. Another big one is sending pictures or videos over iMessage. They come in full quality, and over SMS they're always compressed. So just little things like that are what's going to keep me with the iPhone. So you will see me with the iPhone 5S or iPhone 6S if I decide to upgrade, and that's what I'll be using after this video. So thanks again for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. It does help a lot. I really enjoy doing these videos and putting them out for you, but subscribing helps a lot in terms of making the videos. So, and also leave comments. I mean, that helps. That changes how I do these reviews and these videos and what I put up. So, that being said, also like my Facebook page, facebook.com/funzierone. That is really where you can communicate with me. I don't really read YouTube comments much because there are just so many in all my videos. But on Facebook, you can message me on there, facebook.com/funzierone on my page, and I will respond to you on there. And also I post info about new videos on there. So thanks again for watching. That was my mini review of the Nexus 5X that kind of turned into just me talking about switching over from Apple to Android and just some of my impressions of the differences and how I feel about that. So have a great day.